So here we are at writing my stories, and we've written, and now we're going to read to each other.
Right now, are you ready?
Huh?
I'm going to call this You Just Never Know. His name is Anthony. When I first met him, he was a little, maybe 3 or 4 year old cute kid. Now he calls me Grandma Carol, although we aren't related by blood. He eventually had a brother and a sister, and they all lived in Rhinelander, Wisconsin with their mom. Their grandfather is David Dahl, my son in law. By now, you must be confused. We all grew older and older. No surprise. Anthony grew to be a handsome, tallish guy who enjoyed being in choirs and theater productions in high school. However, other subjects didn't mean as much. He did graduate and decided to try for a tech job, maybe with the phone company as a lineman or some such thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he completed his studies in order to do this work. What followed, I'm not certain. But the next thing I heard, he was in Alaska. He had found a job helping an older couple with their farm or ranch, whatever they call it in Alaska. Recently, I saw a few photos from his phone via my daughter, and I saw a smiling, strong looking, young, black bearded guy who was headed out on a fishing trip with the couple he lived with and worked for. He looked so happy and so well, very well. As I was saying, you just never know what life has in store, what's around the next corner, etc., etc., etc.
Sweet.
Oh, wonderful.
I like the whole time passage, like that was a long time ago. Like I thought you meant this little boy was now, but no, that was a long time ago. And now he's
Nothing is now, Louise. I'm sorry. Not for me, anyway.
Oh, that was wonderful. And it was
Good.
happy. It was a happy ending, too. And this is called I Was Part of the Experiment.
Okay.
When I was a junior at UCLA, I had been working as the lab assistant in the Department of Parasitology since I started as a freshman, majoring in biology. My boss was Dr. Austin McInnes, a brilliant scientist and a wonderful man. I helped the grad students and postdocs set up their experiments and cleaned all the glassware afterward. The main thrust of the research was to find a chemical inhibitor to kill the parasite Schistosoma mannsoni, which is a blood fluke. It's kind of like a fish-shaped thing that goes through the blood and causes all sorts of terrible symptoms, mostly in third world countries. The life cycle is that if a person is infected, the eggs from the schistosoma are eliminated with the feces or the urine. Usually in a third world country, people are standing in a river, so the eggs are carried in the water. And released from the eggs are small little larval stages called myricidia. They pierce snail tissue and live inside a snail for a while, part of the life cycle. And then the snail releases the next part of the life cycle back into the water, where people pick it up because the next part of the life cycle is called cercaria, and they are little spiral things that just go straight through skin and into the person's body. So anyway, my job was to take care of the animal hosts in the lab, the snails and the rats. The rats are another story. So snails infected with myricidia of Schistosoma mannsoni were in metal pans in water covered with foil. Some of the pans had chemicals that were supposed to inhibit these larval stages, and some did not have any chemicals at all. They were the control group. So they were on shelves from about waist high all the way to above my head for about 20 feet. So I was responsible for feeding the snails on a strict schedule. I gave each pan a lettuce leaf. I was supposed to wear a lab coat, gloves, long pants, and closed-toe shoes, and my glasses to feed the snails. One Saturday, I was at the pool by the UCLA dorms sunning myself in a bathing suit and flip flops, and all of a sudden I realized I hadn't fed the snails the day before. I panicked because thousands of dollars of experiments were based on these snails. I tossed on my summer dress and ran down the hill from the dorms to campus, found the doors of the office and the lab open, and thought, well, somebody must be there, but I didn't see anybody. I also thought, well, I've fed these guys a million times. I don't have to put on a lab coat. And I started at the bottom shelf, lifting the front of the foil on the pan, sliding it to the side, and putting the lettuce leaf in all the way down, and then going up to the next shelf. Finally, I was at the first pan of the top row. I lifted the foil that was crimped on the front of the pan and suddenly realized the back of the foil was not crimped around the back of the pan. It was floating in the water. Because as I lifted the foil, the back of the foil scooped up a bunch of water and showered the top of my head. I froze. I couldn't think what to do. I started to yell help. I ran out into the hall and yelled. Carmen Fioravanti, one of the grad students, ran up to me, told me to get the huge bottle of alcohol. It was about thigh high. It was a huge bottle. He ran and got a gallon drum of antidote powder. I closed my eyes and doused myself head to toe with alcohol, and he sprinkled the powder all over me. You can imagine what I looked like. I walked around for several days after that in a fog, but I never got sick. So the chemical in the pan worked. I was now part of the experiment.
That's good.
Oh my gosh, you were afraid of getting infected with these things.
Yes, I walked around for several days thinking, I didn't write into this, but the symptoms are fever, bloody stool, bloody diarrhea. I mean,
Oh
just
my
real
God.
terrible stuff. Itchy rash, pustules all over your that. So,
Wow.
When
yeah,
they wrote up the experiment, did they have to include that event?
no, I don't think so. Well,
Well, I would think I don't know.
I
If
never,
you do very, very adventurous things, your last one was kind of violent too.
yeah, no, I don't remember what happened. I think I was kind of in a fog after that for a while because I was walking around and everybody on the campus was acting normal. You know how when you're in the middle of a crisis and the world goes on and you think, how can they just be going on? I might be infected with this horrible thing.
You mentioned that you didn't put a lab coat on. It was a big kind of point, but it wouldn't have saved you anyway because that fell on your head.
Right. Definitely. And I was supposed to wear a hat too. I think I forgot to put that in there. They had a little hat for me to just put on my head.
Oh,
I'll have to add that to my story.
That was
Confess
good
all
to-
this to, did you confess all this to the professor or how
Oh, yeah.
did it end it?
Well, he had to know why all the antidote powder and the alcohol were gone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'll write a little bit of it.
Okay.
Writing for 20 minutes is a very hard thing to do unless you have a reason to write about something. Some people want to write their memoir. Others like to journal. I really would love to write something interesting that others would enjoy reading. I have taken a few fast flow writing courses, and that was fun and helpful. And that we used meditation techniques to help bring forth the hidden memories we've stored away. My mind is either blank about what is appropriate to write about or is racing with a million thoughts, so I never get a solid idea down on paper. I am sleepy today and have a lot of things and thoughts cluttering up my mind and get stuck because I cannot frame my thoughts into anything readable. Now my thoughts turn to doodling on my page. The family, which usually rotates, is bothering me. Oh, the fan, which usually rotates, is bothering me, and the pages of my notebook by the continual fluttering of the pages. Distractions. Thoughts of sleepiness come over me as I try to continue my important work of getting thoughts from head to paper. The family guinea pig is a welcome distraction. She, she chews on the end of her water bottle and rolls her eyes. Most people find her cute, and so do I. That face, I guess they do look like pigs in the nose area. As I look around my living room and take in the clutter, and it translates to the busyness of the next few hours, days, weeks, and months, there is no end in sight. I will be grateful.
Cleo, it was wonderful.
Leo, you get first
Oh,
prize.
Oh my gosh, you just
Love
put
that.
into words how it feels to be distracted and not be able to start something.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh,
The little
good.
humor thing of the guinea pig and very cute. Oh my gosh.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
that's right.
that was how we learned that we did the fast flow. It was like, don't think about it, just write whatever comes
Right.
out.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
how I did it, because I didn't know what else we
You
were
had a
doing.
prompt when you did the fast flow? Did they give you a prompt?
Yeah, like she would give us a prompt, like, think of, when we did the spices, for instance, they all reminded everybody of the holidays.
Oh,
Holidays. So a lot of people wrote stories about Thanksgiving dinners and family, or a time. So that, and then you would just write as fast as you could.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That was
wouldn't
great.
I wouldn't want
Thank you.
to limit it to please write to this, but to give an option.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I love the idea. Thanks a lot. Great. Okay. Well, it's 3 o'clock. This was
That was
very
fun.
enjoyable.
Yay. Well, thank you for letting me read. I mean,
Thank you, all of you.
distractions.